Studios here at 1340. It's time for us to sit down with Mayor Brad Nash. We had a special board meeting last night, and Mayor was kind enough to say he would show up. I mean, doesn't mean he's not going to get paged or get interrupted, but he did show up. Do you need to take that?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, all right, very good. You never know, fire department, sometimes when they ring you, that means like now.
Yeah.
We've had that happen before where
Yeah.
you had to pick up and say, adios.
Yeah, that one was Daryl Skiles. I'll have to call him back here in a few
Daryl
minutes.
can wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can wait. Anyway, we had a special board meeting last night. The last time we were supposed to get together, obviously, after a board meeting, you were unable to attend.
Uh-huh.
You had a few things going on. It's kind of a really weird time right
It
now,
is.
isn't
It
it?
is.
And, of course, you do wear more than one hat.
Yeah, that makes it a little rougher.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to balance all that in there, besides having a, fairly large family.
Oh, yes.
With kids now sitting at home,
Uh-huh.
And fire, department head, and, also throw that emergency management director of Denton County in there just to take in the extra time. What the heck? All right, well, anyway. But also Mayor Salem, and by being mayor, we have a few things going on in town. And so a little bit of what we want to talk about today is a lot of things had to be changed, obviously, due to this virus, the shutting of
Yes.
businesses,
Uh-huh.
or limiting of some businesses about what they can do. Obviously, it's not going to be advantageous to the economy of Denton County or any place else.
Yes.
We all know that, but it also made some changes in the way the city has to do business. I mean, Brad, there's probably a lot of things coming down from these edicts that I'm going to say are being that our state is indicating, as well as the federal government, that changes the way the city does business.
It really does, and we're getting information every day of different things that we need to look at or we need to work on. We've been trying to do our best to keep up with those, but there's just stuff coming down the pipe every day of information for us.
Yeah, and a lot of it is got to be read. I mean, we're not talking about a one paragraph, hey, this is what we're going to do. What do you think? 5, 6, 10, 15, 25 pages of different things. And a couple of those things we'll talk about here a little bit that was passed by the federal government that will affect employees of the city or could affect the employees of the city.
Yes.
And so that had to be obviously absorbed into an ordinance because it's here.
Well, and this is new territory for a lot of us, and
For all of us, I think, Brad.
Yeah, and with when we wrote a lot of our ordinances and our bills and resolutions and all that, we didn't put anything in there to anticipate something like this, and so now we're having to go back and change some things to kind of help us in the situation, and so we can work through these issues.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's start with the special meeting. We had a bill in there that repealed some ordinances dealing with the electric, water, and the sewer, prompt payment, discounts, and the late payment penalties. This has been something that we're trying to get right.
Yes.
I mean, this is the third time trying to get this to where it's explained correctly, and the city's doing its best to try and stay on top of this. And a lot of this is due to the coronavirus because obviously we've had to, and part of what the improvement was to the city, which threw things back behind with their normal billing.
That is correct. And with the AMI system and all that, we were looking at this ordinance, and we had switched some of it around, and like you said, everything because of the COVID virus and that type of thing, we were getting ready to make a final approval of this. Then when the COVID came up, it's like, well, we need to adjust that a little bit more, and so we had to go back and do so. But basically what bill number 3442 is a bill that discusses payments for utilities. Prior to AMI, that type of thing, we basically had no flexibility in our ordinance.
Right.
You
For
got
the 10th of the month, right?
Yeah, you got your bill. Within 10 days, if you paid it, you got a 1% discount. On the 20th or 20 days after you received your bill, if it was not paid, you got a 10% penalty, and so on and so forth. There was nothing in the bill that allowed us to adjust that at all. So when we had the issues with the AMI project and our bills, we had to push them off, and we were a little late there. There was nothing in there saying that we could adjust any of these penalty dates, and so we were working on that. And we had all the bugs worked out of that, and we were getting ready to approve it. And then with the virus thing coming up, people potentially out of jobs, that type of thing, we were looking at, we really don't want to penalize people, especially if they're not working or work slow or whatever. Well, then there again, we had nothing in there saying that we could
waive
for good measure waive any fees. So that we went back to the table and readjusted and got the ordinance that we approved last night.
But like you said, this is uncharted territory.
It is.
And when, obviously the first one was the AMI system. Some people had the AMI, some people didn't have the AMI.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, we got to still got to get the bills out. Unfortunately, we have had so much rain, and trying to get these things done. Well, the electric part of it wasn't so much the problem. The electric part, pretty well, I think, is all but done.
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
Yeah. Water meters, on the other hand, when you try and get to them and you're sinking, that's a bit of a problem.
A little bit more difficult.
You can't. And besides that, and just so people out there be aware of it, some of these water meters were really put in some interesting locations to where there's no room to get in there now. Or maybe there was when they first put them in, but now they're in very tight areas to where this is not just a simple change out. Just go in, shut it off, change the meter, put a new one in, turn it back on.
Yeah.
Some of these have to be dug out.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of more of a process, and so it has taken a little bit longer. But the process is still going on.
Yes.
So what's happened in the last 4 weeks? Nothing but rain. So there's still some out there that have not been changed, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
So we still have
last count that I had heard, I believe we have about 160 meters left to still change.
As soon as we can come above water,
to
get out there and get it done, and they'll all be taken care of. But unfortunately, COVID-19 hits. Different things happen, and as you were mentioning, just allowing the opportunity, first off, to shorten time periods. That adjustment was made now, so you can actually lengthen time periods or shorten time periods for discounts or penalties, and then now actually waive penalties.
Yes.
So all that was read over and discussed at about 5 different times, actually. So I don't think anything was new in this one. The only thing that was adjusted in this one was actually the waiving of the penalties on this last part that was different than the ones before. So
yes.
They adjust, and I'll just read that so just in case somebody doesn't understand it. The city administrator, the approval of mayor or president of the board, has the authority to adjust the billing penalty dates and waive the delayed penalty for good cause if otherwise compliance therewith is found to be impossible, impractical, or unreasonable, and to promote fairness in dealings between the city and its customers.
Yes.
That really was why that one had to be redone. Okay? And it passed. Not a problem. So, depending upon the length of this, what happens, we want to remind people that the city is watching this just like you are. They are very much aware of what's going on.
Absolutely.
So it's not like they do not want anybody to be shut off. And no shut-offs, by the way.
That is correct.
Was discussed as well. So, and I That's in a different one, isn't it?
That is, yeah, that's in Bill 3443.
Right, that's one. Okay, so.
And,
There's so many to read here.
There is. And, like we said earlier, everything is it's changing by the minute. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we get information, we'll get a phone call, and it's like, well, you need to do this. Well, then 2 hours later, you get a phone call, and it's like, well, don't do that. You need to do this. And so, like I said, all of these adjustments that we're having to make is sometimes can be a little confusing. But it's, there is nothing that we have done at this point to penalize citizens. It's actually been the complete opposite, trying to loosen things up, to give us as much leeway as we can to help in this time.
And the only thing that I guess people right now, the only penalty is you can't go in city buildings, different things of that nature, unless there is an authorization for you to do so.
Yeah.
And this is just trying to keep this COVID virus 19. Now, we still don't have any in Dent County, right?
No.
Okay.
Not,
so we're still,
as of last night.
Right. So we're still in good shape. So. Let's keep it that way.
Absolutely.
Let's just keep it that way. And we're not saying that somebody around here doesn't have it. It's just there's no symptoms.
Sure.
So, as long as no symptoms show up, we're good. Let's go to Bill number 3443 because this is going to lay the groundwork for some stuff that I want to talk to you about, not only for the city but also for the county, because this is kind of working in conjunction with each other, right? Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So Bill number 3443. As the mayor mentioned, does authorize a few things to be done, but that can only be done by declaring a state of emergency.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is due to the coronavirus. This is a one-time deal, unless the coronavirus, I guess, could pop back up. I don't know if it would call it coronavirus again, but it probably won't be, but they don't do it that way. But basically what it does say is that, you want me to read it? And then you can get to read the proclamation. I'll read this.
Okay.
How about that? All right. So in Section 1, what this does, by going to a state of emergency to try and eliminate the spread of this virus, the city's authorizing you, the mayor, to declare a state of emergency in response to this for the next 60 days. That was effective last night?
Yes.
All right. So effective last night, 60 days. Or until further action from the board, whichever occurs first. So if everything goes back to normal in 15 days, you can remove the state of emergency.
That is correct.
Okay. It also limits the access of public to the Board of Aldermen meetings to video observation only. I'm questioning on that. We're talking with the Attorney General on that. That is probably the best thing for the public to do.
Sure.
However, I'm not sure you can tell somebody if they show up at a meeting that doesn't have 10.
Yeah.
That they can't come in. So I'm waiting to hear back on that. But even if that would be a big thing, again, video observation is the safest.
Absolutely.
Okay? All right. City shall, Section 2, by the way, shall suspend the disconnection of utilities for non-payment and waive late fees for duration of declaration of an emergency in response to the coronavirus. If this wasn't done, if you didn't declare a state of emergency, you could not waive the fees, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is being done to protect the citizens. All right, very good. Now, in the event of a declaration of an emergency in response to the coronavirus, customers can utilize the drop box, which is at the city administration building. It's right on the front. The drive up, which is you go through on 4th Street, go in from 4th Street, go around the building, come up. There's only one that's open. Okay. You can pay by phone. We can do that now. Didn't used to be able to do that, but you can by now. And mail, you can send in your payments by mail. No foot traffic's allowed in the city administrative offices building, which is kind of what we already said anyway. If you do want to establish new utility service, contact utility office. Some of these have been done through the drive-through, I understand. A couple others could not be, so they actually will come out to your car and do it. So, again, they do need some information, your driver's license, things of that nature when they establish utility service. All those rules do not change.
That is
still
correct.
need to have that.
That is correct.
All right, so basically, when we call a state of emergency, no, they're not shutting streets down. This is not martial law, and this is what I'm hearing from people. Well, they're cutting off all of our stuff. No, there are some limitations that have been put in place by the governor, but the city is only doing this state of emergency to well, number one, tell you what to do, and since they've closed the city offices, this is how you'll establish new service. And then number two, to waive fees and protect citizens from being burdened with late fees, disconnects, etc., in a time when they may not be able to do anything else.
That is correct. And it gives us other options as well. We're able to access state I lost the word. State programs that we normally are not able to access, and so that helps us in that situation as well.
Okay, so the city did that to access those programs, but also yesterday you were in recommending that to the county as well, because with that is not in place and something should happen. Then you've got to get the commissioners together to vote this, and you can't react. Even as emergency management director, your hands are kind of tied in accessing those programs, right?
Exactly. And then this also helps us if something happens and we do have to spend some money towards this virus. If we're out expenses or whatever, we can claim that, and the federal government is working on getting some money available to help states and local governments, and so we can also apply for that funding to where we're not out at least so much money.
But if you didn't declare the state of emergency, that may not happen.
That is correct.
Okay. So just because that the city declared a state of emergency and Denton County declared a state of emergency, and I know the question is out there, we haven't had a case. Why are we doing this? Well, we're doing it just in case.
Sure.
We have a case.
Yeah, and it just gives us a little bit more leeway. It's not a bad thing. It's not like it's oh my gosh, it's a doomsday issue.
And that's when people hear state of emergency, Brad. I mean, if you don't know why it was done, the mind just starts taking off. Maybe our sewers have been infiltrated with alligators. Who knows? What state of emergency is. But this is only really to protect the citizens by allowing now the city to waive fees, to do different things, to help out in this cause, but also the county as well. So the county went ahead after the state of emergency yesterday, and they closed the courthouse down. And they voted on that and right before noontime to do that. And so please follow these directives, and they're telling you how to get in touch with the lawmakers that you need to. You can still go to commissioner meetings. They're still going to be open. They're only going to be on Mondays. But like the county offices, if you need to call them, if you need to get in for something, you have to get in. Like if you're a notary, you have to go in and you have to swear.
Yes.
I mean, people are swearing all over the place now, but it's not the same kind of swear.
It's a different swear.
A little swear. But you have to go in and you have to swear in their office and sign the paper in their office in front of witnesses. So as a notary, if you are a notary and your commission has expired and you're getting renewed, you're going to have to go in the building. Now, they will unlock it and they'll let you in and do it. Absentee voting, Brad, they can actually come out to your car. The clerk's office can. When it comes to somebody who wants to sign up for a county office, you can still do that through next Tuesday. They can do that outside as well, but they may have you come in, depending upon the weather and different things of nature. If they know who you are, they may let you come in, take care of that inside. Paying your taxes, assessor's forms, drop them off outside or mail them.
Sure.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to say is we're trying to prevent any type of chance of the spread, right?
That's exactly right. And, one of the biggest things that everybody can do, especially during this time, is call before you go. If you will call, same thing with the hospitals, any place, call, tell them what your business is, what you need to do, and they can instruct you, okay, pull up to the curb, we'll meet you out there, or, that type of thing, or come into the building. That's going to relieve a lot of frustrations there, and I think it can take care of a lot of issues in the long run. So before you go out to the courthouse, before you go to City Hall, wherever you're going, call and make sure that you know what their policies are or procedures, and follow those, and everything will be fine.
Okay, so I will give you the utmost honor of reading this proclamation, if you wouldn't mind.
I can definitely do that.
All right, very good. So this was approved last night, by the way, by the alderman after he read it, not before. He read it.
Yes, it was a proclamation for emergency governmental proclamation and/or resolution of a state of emergency in Salem, Missouri. Whereas Salem, Missouri has or shortly will encounter exposure to COVID-19, which is a threat to the lives and property of the people of Salem, Missouri, and whereas that area within the boundaries of Salem, Missouri are immediately threatened with spread of the virus and curtailing the protection of lives and property contained in Salem, Missouri, and an emergency exists. Thank you. Now, therefore, Mayor of the City of Salem, Missouri, hereby declare that a state of emergency exists in Salem, Missouri, and we hereby invoke and declare in full force and effect in Salem, Missouri, all laws, statutes of the state of Missouri, Salem, Missouri, for the exercise of all necessary emergencies, authority for the protection of the lives and property of the people of Salem, Missouri, and the restoration of local government with a minimum of
interruption.
Goodness gracious, I can't read this morning. I apologize.
Well, it's hard when your eyes are crossed like that.
They are.
You got to get a little sleep sometime, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
You want me to read the rest?
I can grab it.
All right, okay.
As pursuant with Chapter 44 of the revised Missouri State Statutes, county court orders, and city ordinances as pertain to all public offices and employees of Salem, Missouri are hereby directed to exercise the utmost diligence in discharge of duties required of them for the duration of the emergency and in the execution of emergency laws, regulations, and directives, both state and local. All citizens are called upon and directed to comply with necessary emergency measures, to cooperate with public officials and the City of Salem, Missouri Emergency Management Agency forces in executing emergency operational plans, and to obey and comply with the lawful direction of property identified public offices.
Okay, that's good enough. And then he signed it. Okay.
Yes.
Effective yesterday. And let's just I want to back up just 1 second because you mentioned emergency operational plans.
Uh-huh.
There is a plan for Dent County and the City of Salem.
That is correct.
And so that plan cannot go into effect until the state of emergency has been authorized.
That is correct.
Okay. So those plans, by the way, are open to the public if you want to go look at them. They're pretty exciting. Well, okay, maybe not all that exciting,
Yeah.
but it's a step-by-step procedure.
It is.
And so this is what has to happen. This happens, this happens, this happens, this happens.
That is
and
correct.
So that can be done. So for anybody out there who thinks, state of emergency, and I hate to hear the term state of emergency because it just brings, sometimes I think it just brings panic to people.
Absolutely.
There's no need to panic here. The only reason this is being done is to really allow, first off, the citizens of Salem to have their fees, their late fees, and waived, and also their shutoffs not be carried through.
Yeah, at this point, this is a good thing. This is not a negative.
Right.
This is a good thing for us to be able to do.
Okay, so all right, so that's all good, and we're setting good. The county, on the other hand, has closed their courthouse. The city has closed their main office. Again, please call them if you have questions or need to get in. And there'll be and as things happen, there'll be more information published. And, we'll get it out. Salem News will get it out. It'll be out there. Now, Salem News has put out basically a COVID-19. I think it's too much. I think it's overload. Myself, I know we get a lot of stuff in here. I have to can half of it because a lot of it isn't always accurate, and so
that's right.
You have to watch who's sending you what, and so please be very careful with that. And also, Brad, we haven't talked about it, but scams are starting to show up with the COVID-19.
It has, and that's pretty sad that someone would do that. But for some people, it's all about the dollar, and
It's about fear.
Yeah, and so that's pretty sad. But make sure you're careful in where you're getting your sources. That's and that's one of the things that we had talked about in some of our county meetings for emergency management is Facebook and other.
Instagram and all that, man.
Yeah, they can help you, but on the other hand, they can really hurt you as well. And so, just because you see it on there, go find out. Go to other sources and make sure that information's true before you share it or spread it.
Yeah, being a member of the Missouri Broadcasters Association, they say do not use any social media as a news source.
Yes,
you can't. I mean, it may be based on fact what they're saying, and that's not a problem. Except if you use it and it's not, and this happened here not too long ago, somebody posted something from like 6 years ago.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy, and they were spreading it like it just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought, when I saw this post, I said, that seems to be old. I think I remember that from before. But anyway, nonetheless, so that now has been done. The state of emergency is in effect. Okay, so now that is in effect, Bill number 3444 came up. Now, this is something we start talking about being these edicts coming down from above. Federal government, state governments can do things that do affect local governments, and this is one of those. It's the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. And this is a lot of people who are being told to stay at home.
Yes.
This does work for the employees of the city of Salem, and so it does explain what happens on paid leave if somebody gets the virus. If somebody has to care for somebody who gets the virus, or if something else that's related to that, how this is going to happen. And then the provisions of the Families First Coronavirus Act, they expand the Family Medical Leave Act just temporarily. Okay, which had to be in there because it's not permanent.
Exactly.
Because some of those would bankrupt the city.
Yeah.
Well, it really would. I mean, for some of those, we can do 30 days and 60 days, and it's kind of crazy. So there are a number of different things in there. Again, the emergency family medical leave that the city already had, and their sick leave policies they already had. Whatever the Families First Coronavirus Response Act is that extends those, that had to be included. That is why this bill was read and passed last night. Just more bookwork.
More bookwork.
Anyway, but again, we try and explain it. Sometimes it's not even you could sit there and say no, but then your employee could turn around and sue you and you lose.
Yeah, that is correct.
Why do it?
Yeah.
You have to follow. If the federal government says that you will be compensated for that, then you're going to get compensated for that. Okay, so resolution number 5 is something that's already passed back in 2018. And we talked about this a long time ago, a payment plan that was established by the city of Salem for those who had those really high electric bills that one year when it got really cold. The city went and established a payment plan. However, during this time, Brad, that payment plan would be a little too restrictive for most people to even be able to qualify.
It was, and so what we had looked at doing there, and again, we're doing our best on the city side to be able to work with everybody, and so with this resolution and the payment plan, we loosened up the restrictions on that to hopefully be able to help more people. But basically, with this one, if you need to participate in this, you have to pay 50% down of your utility bill, and you can spread the rest out for 3 months. Now, you have to pay your regular utility bill, but then you will add on, the portion of the unpaid payment to that. As of right now, for eligibility, you do not qualify if we've disconnected you for non-payment.
Prior to all this.
Yes. You have tampered with a utility meter at your residence. We're already in the process of sending you to an account debt collector, or you have stopped services. If a court has determined that your debt to us is legally extinguishable and your bill is not current, then those are issues why you would not be able to qualify. But there again, if this is something that you need to look at, call up the office and talk to the girls, and they can walk you through that process and help you out there.
All right. So if you've already done a payment plan and you've completed it, you're fine. If you have one going on now, you can actually get another one.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then there's no limit to the number of arrangements you make as long as the prior payment arrangement terms have been met. So
that is correct.
If you have a a situation where you got an exceptionally high bill during the winter, you got a payment plan, you were doing fine, Corona hits, and all of a sudden you're working instead of full time, you're working part time, and you need another plan. This may happen. And if that does happen, you can do that. So there is a flexible arrangement available. So as long as you met the terms of your previous plan, you're eligible.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So it's not like it's a one-time only thing, and it can be done. So if you have questions, again, call the office and talk to utility girls. They can help you out.
Absolutely.
Very good. A lot of stuff going on in there.
There is. And, it's important that people, they're paying attention. It's like we said, don't take what you see on social media as accurate. Look into it yourself.
Make a phone call.
To
the people who know. Don't call Aunt Judy, 40 miles away and say, I've got a problem with my city utility bill.
Yeah.
And Aunt Judy goes, wow, that's terrible. Those people must really be rude. Now, Aunt Judy doesn't know, and then she may not even know there's a flex payment plan. So, and again, when we start talking about these changes, this is a benefit for the people. This is a benefit due to this coronavirus.
That is correct.
And I'm not sure, and then there's no expiration on this one.
That is true.
So this may be something that can continue or be in place in case this ever happens again.
That is correct. So,
I bet you every resolution and ordinance we have now is going to have to look ahead. What if?
Yeah. And that's a good possibility. And I would have never thought that we would be in this situation, or we would have to go through and.
Well, we've had pandemics before, Brad.
We have, and it's never been to this extent.
Yeah.
And a lot of things. I was talking to Kendra from the health department yesterday, and the question that we've been getting quite frequently is, why are we blowing this one up? Why? And it's simply because we don't have a lot of information on this one. And they said, well, look at the flu, and this virus at this point is the death rate for this is 3 to 4%. The flu is 0.05%. And so it is more dangerous, but we don't have a lot of the information that we need to fight this thing. So everybody is taking extra precautions. Don't get frustrated with us. We're trying to do our best that we can to help the community and keep the community safe. Unfortunately, in doing that, it takes away some of our abilities to go eat out and go do other things. But we're doing this to protect you, not to hurt you.
All right. Now, one thing, and this is something that was brought up at the Friday meeting, and I'm just gonna. They had a kind of a pre-meeting, a special meeting on Friday as well. That I just want people to know the city isn't doing this thing without knowing that the consequences to businesses in town.
Absolutely
is intense. And Brad brought up the point that our economic development director needs to be in touch with the businesses in town, constantly be in touch with them, follow through on a number of different things. We do know that like you said, the restaurants no longer can serve food inside. They can deliver, or they can do carry out. that's not, most of these places weren't built for that. Okay, so, that makes it a little bit of a problem.
It does.
And a lot of them don't have that kind of, let's put it this way, containers.
Yeah.
That many. I mean, okay, everybody gets a doggy bag. They go someplace. Okay, so
Sure.
you get 40 containers you might use a night. Well, if you serve 40 meals, you need 40 containers right now.
Yeah.
And there might be more than, it depends on what you get to eat. You might have to have 2 containers for the meal you get. So all of a sudden, that's only 20.
Yeah.
We may have a problem. We may not have enough containers. So
Sure.
there may be some limitations to that as well. So, but the discussion on Friday is that we do know this is going to affect Salem economically. We do know right now tourism traffic is going to be virtually nil, which is not a bad thing, actually.
Sure.
While this is going on. But at the same time, today we get the edict that now the state parks are now shutting down their campgrounds and their lodging as well through April 30th. Which makes, again, traffic less and less in our area, which might mean less and less outside people coming in that could be bringing in a virus.
Absolutely.
So, well, we don't know when it's going to end. We do know that there is some drug trials going on right now, and they're really expediting this. And then we still don't have a deal in place to help out people. Right now they're going through this, that are kind of being put on hold in their jobs. Brad, we all know that I thought we'd have one by Monday.
Sure.
And then maybe Tuesday at the latest, and who knows if there's even going to be one now, the way both parties are reacting. Don't have any idea.
Yeah.
This has now become a political arena, which is kind of crazy. This is not what our Congress should be doing.
No, and this isn't the time for that. Argue all you want outside of this, but let's fix this problem while we're going through it, and let's help out our local businesses. Let's help out our neighbors. Let's do whatever it takes to get through this, and then if you want to fight about it and argue about it later, go for it. But unfortunately, this isn't the time to be doing that.
And we do have some temporary restrictions, as we mentioned, with a few things here. Pretty much, though, guys, there really is no need to be out. There's no school. Churches have canceled their things. Even funeral homes have had to accommodate the rule of 10. So, gang, if you don't really have to go out, and today you probably don't want to go out, there are probably reasons for that, and we're probably not going to have a real good Friday either. Please don't. We do want to remind everybody, if you do go out on the nicer days we got coming up. So we have some nice days. And I'm kind of just speaking this from the Park and Rec Department. We do have a beautiful city park. However, if you get down there at Billy's Playground or the playground area and there's 15 or 20 people, we're going to have to close it. Because you can't do that. So take the kids down there, enjoy it. Take some wipes, please, and wipe it down when you're finished, and then wherever the kids go, and that would be wonderful to wipe it down. But if you see some other kids coming and you've already been there for 20 minutes, a half hour, kind of move on. You can walk all over the park. You can go. You can go over to the Tiger Trail and walk it. And then nothing closed there, and you can go walk around the city park if you wish and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
There.
And here's the thing, and I said this the other day when we were talking. It's been amazing to me, especially this weekend. We stayed home for the majority of the weekend. I ended up having to run to the store and grab something for somebody else that couldn't make it to the store. But other than that, we stayed in, and it was so nice just to be able to sit back, relax. We watched movies with the kids. A lot of times you're so busy and you're just run. Take this time to just sit back and relax a little bit. Spend some time with your family. It's been nice on, we watched our church service on Facebook. When I first heard about that, I was like, no, this is going to be terrible. It was actually really neat. There was a band that done a live thing on Facebook, a band from Rolla, and we got to sit and watch that and enjoy that, and we were able to do a lot of things that we normally don't get to do because everything is just run, got to go here, you got to do this. Yeah. So on the flip side of this, look at the positive side. Spend time with your family, spend time with your kids, and just relax and have a good time.
Well, do the best you can.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we want to pass on, and I know we're in the media, and so obviously because you're listening to media, but being in the media, we know that you get overwhelmed with information.
Sure.
Not only we don't try and do too much. We're doing this today, but you get overwhelmed with AP, statewide news. Everybody's mentioning it. But don't go on your computer and start watching it. Don't go on your TV and start watching CNN and Fox News and all these places where it's 24-hour coverage. You drive yourself nuts, guys. Yeah. So, you need a break from that as well.
Absolutely.
Go read a book. Go read a book. Now don't go read Contagion. But go read a fun book. You know? Read something good or walk around. Just walk around the house. Walk around your yard. When was the last time you walked around your yard and looked at the house? See if you got anything wrong with it. Now, again, you may not want to be doing that right now if it's raining. But you know what I mean? We get a nice day, like Thursday's supposed to be 77 degrees. Why would anybody stay inside?
Yeah.
Go sit on your deck. If you have a deck, go sit on your patio. Go sit on your driveway.
Yeah.
Sit outside anywhere in your backyard.
Yeah.
Maybe take a book out there and enjoy the day. 77 degrees sounds like a good day just to relax. And like you said, we'll get through it. You just have to be patient.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you for your time, sir.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
That's Brad Nash, Mayor of Salem, Denton County Economic. I should say Denton County Emergency Management Director. I was going to give you another job. Holy cow, man! You are a busy guy. And also Fire Chief. Just throw that in there just in case you have nothing else to do that day. Do want to remind everybody that many of the banks, their all lobbies are closed. A lot of different things are closed. So if you would, please call, like Brad said, ahead of time, and just try and maybe revert back to a few things. A phone call works really well. Playing with the kids is pretty cool. Have your meals at home.
Yeah.
But if you want to get a meal delivered, please do help out our restaurants.
Absolutely.
Call them if they can deliver it or you can pick it up. It's great. Swing by, pick it up, and keep them going because you really want them here after all this is over.
That is true.
And they've got to continue to pay people and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So, buddy, thanks a lot for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Mayor Brad Nash, our Mayor's Moments here on KSMO Radio, 1340 AM. We have our Bass Pro Outdoor program coming up next, brought to you as a courtesy of KSMO Radio, 1340 AM. Thank you, sir. And
thank you.
Hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Stay dry.
Signs that spring is here, coming up on Bass Pro Shops Outdoor World.
Have you ever wanted to disappear into the woods? Have you ever wanted to tie your own flies, but never taken the time? Have you ever wanted to speak turkey